Good morning everyone and welcome to Jimmy Online. My name is Rodrigo Benavides and I'll be with you guys for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So welcome and let's start watching because for today's episode we get a really interesting topic. Okay guys, in this chapter we're gonna make an overview of what is the JavaScript's type system. What are types? Well, types are a set of values along with operations that can be performed on those values. We can also say that it's a classification of information. Types in JavaScript. Now we have some examples of types in JavaScript. So we have number, string, boolean, undefined, null, symbol, and object. The first 6 are also known as primitive types. And we have the symbol, which is the new type in ECMAScript 6. In the next episode of JavaScript Basics, I'll be talking about the difference between objects and primitive types. So for now, it's important to know that those 6 are primitive types and that they are immutable. Use strict and type-of. We're gonna use this operator of JavaScript when we want to get the specific type of each value. You can use the type-of with parentheses or without it. The type-of operator returns always a string indicating the type of the value. So the first one is a string, second string, the third one is going to be a number, the next one is a boolean, and the last one is an object. If you want to implement a stronger type checking in your code, you can make use of the use strict type system and type checking. A type system is a set of rules that make sure that the data in your code is connected in a proper way, in a consistent way. To reduce the number of bugs in a code, the type system implements a type checking. Static versus dynamic type checking. Okay, now we're gonna check what is the difference between static and dynamic checking. In order to understand the difference between these two concepts, here we have the code, which is on the left side, and then this code is going to be compiled so that it's finally run in our computer. During the compile time is when happens the static type checking, because the errors that are found during this time are preventing the code to be successfully compiled. Now, this is what we call it static type checking, and it happens during the compile time. On the other hand, during the runtime, it is when the dynamic checking happens. And those are actually errors that are found when the application is being run. JavaScript is an example of dynamic type language. Coercion. Now, what is Coercion doing with types in JavaScript? Now, this is an implicit type conversion of a value type to a value of another type. Here we have an example. Here we have 4 plus 1. The 1 is a string, and as a result we have 41. So in the first line we have the 4 as a number and the number 1 as a string. So because of the implicit type conversion, the language knows that the result is going to be 41 as a string instead of 5. In a future chapter, we'll be checking what are those rules when we are adding a number and a string. Is static or dynamic type checking the same as strong or weak typing? Well, the answer is not. They are not the same. Now this is a classic one. A lot of people use strong, weak type checking as a synonym for static, dynamic checking. Let us check why this is different. The first line is an example of strong typing, Whereas in the second line, we have an example of weak typing. JavaScript is an example of weak typed language. The reason why is that in the first line, there will be an error type thrown because the type of these values are not matching. However, in the second line, because of the implicit type conversion, it is possible to make this operation without any type error. Then we can say that the main difference between these two concepts is when and how. When is the type checking going to be executed? And how strict is the type checking, weak or strong? This is the end of the video. I hope that you liked it. I hope that you found it interesting. I hope that you learned something new, or at least you refreshed your concepts. So this is Gmail Online. My name is Rodrigo Benavides, and I hope to see you next time, next week. Bye bye, guys. Do not forget to subscribe.